Hey, good evening, USA, International, Canada, Long Island, aka Strong Island, the tri state areas of New Jersey, Connecticut, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man and homie, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Yo, aka aka the Gregonator. Rhymes with Narrator. You're also the most misunderstood lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, creator, YouTuber, and Queens, New York native who is also a fan of two New York teams, the New York Giants and the New York Mets, from the neck of the woods of Laurelton, Queens, New York. You are now rocking with me by listening, tuning in, streaming, and watching the 441st episode of Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast, the place for various topics in music news, entertainment news. There's a little bit of transit, a little bit of movie news, TV, tech, and a little bit of gaming. We are now live and direct from StreamYard and alongside with YouTube and in the comfort of my room where I do my podcast. All right. And I do apologize for a little butcher in the beginning as I was introducing the show. And for those of you who are just coming into the channel for the first time, welcome to the show. And if you have any questions, if you have any comments, how you feel about the topics in each episode. And the main thing I need y'all to do me a favor on is click on that subscribe button on the YouTube channel page of G Money Stacks 555, where you can see all the episodes uploaded to the YouTube channel page. If you miss any episodes whatsoever, please feel free to 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 catch up on the episodes. All right. And yeah. And also if you listen on audio podcasts, you can also leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts alongside with a review. The review in 5 stars really helps the show out. It helps me out. It helps me build confidence in myself as a host and a content creator on the YouTube channel page. And of course, positive feedback is basically important though. You know what I'm saying? Now, now, um, I do apologize for basically switching up the podcast recording schedule. Um, because I was working on my other podcast shows that I was trying to do actually, which is I was trying to build up the other podcast shows, which is on my sports platform, and my other one, which is what I do, which is my entertainment review show actually. Um, so in case you don't know what I'm talking about, my sports YouTube channel page, um, yeah, I can check that out as well. Is excellent, fun, vibrant talks podcast, and my other one is the entertainment YouTube channel page of my review show, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to both of those pages on YouTube. All right. Now that I got that out the way, let's get into this. The New York Mass Transit Files, man. Let's have a transit talk. All right, let's get into it right here. Um, I know I'm a little far behind on some transit news and stuff, so I'm gonna do a little recap. And I hope everyone out there was okay during the snowstorm. Not too many people survive out there in this frigid cold weather. So so um it's unfortunate actually. So anyway, man, let's do a little recap of the transit news, shall we? All right, so police are searching for a suspect who allegedly put a gun to a woman's head and robbed her inside a busy Manhattan train station on Wednesday morning. According to law enforcement sources, the 57-year-old victim was inside the 86th Street station on the B and C line on the Upper West Side just after 1:15 a.m. that took place on October 15th when the frightening incident occurred, to be exact. Excuse me. The suspect, unknown to the victim, came from behind and grabbed the unsuspecting woman, placing a black firearm to her head as he demanded her belongings. Police said he snagged two purses from the victim. Among those personal items inside the purses were a cell phone, wallet, documents, credit cards, jewelry, and $120 in cash. Damn. So the perp managed to leave the station, fled on a maroon bike, and headed west on West 88th Street, police said. The woman was not hurt in the robbery, police said. Police on Wednesday night released photos and videos of the suspect, who remains on the supposed to be on the loose. He's described as having a dark complexion, is approximately 5'9" tall, and was last seen wearing a gray hat, dark coat, blue jeans, and gray sneakers. Hmm. Let's see. So far, no arrests have been made, but the investigation remains ongoing. Anyone with information regarding the incident can call Crime Stoppers at 800-577-TIPS. And for the Latino community who speaks Spanish, you can dial 888-57-PISTA. You can also submit tips online at crimestoppers.nypdonline.org or on X, formerly Twitter, at NYPD Tips. All calls and messages are kept confidential. Meanwhile, robberies in the 24th Street precinct, in the 24th precinct where the incident occurred are down 29% year to date versus the same period last year, according to the latest police data. However, overall major crimes in the precinct is up nearly 4% using the same time period comparison. Okay, so the MTA marked a key milestone in its Park Avenue Viaduct repair and replacement project for Metro North on Monday. The MTA officials announced at a press conference that took place on October the 6th, the last of the project's phase one bridge installations since the work began in 2023. The $590 million phase one, scheduled for completion next year, is the first of two phases to reconstruct or replace portions of the 132-year-old viaduct in East Harlem that carries Metro North commuter trains. Hmm. Just a sec. Give me 1 second, folks. I gotta do something. All right. For the last 100 years, it's been falling apart. MTA chair and CEO General Lieber said, "This is a story about what we're dealing with in the MTA capital program. In this viaduct, there are structural elements that were put there, maybe by Cornelius Vanderbilt himself back in 1890." Hmm, 1890. Oh boy. Um, 1890s. Yeah, so the viaduct, also known as a bridge with multiple spans, is considered the backbone of the Metro North Railroad. The elevated steel structure runs nearly 2 miles from the entrance of the Park Avenue tunnel at 97th Street to the Harlem River, carrying about 750 trains on a typical weekday. But it has been falling apart, MTA officials said. Repairs and replacements are necessary to ensure the viaduct remains in good condition and continues to serve the community. Improvements so far include the replacement of 128 bridge spans that connect tracks column to column, the addition of 12,800 feet of new aluminum third rail, and the addition of 6,500 feet of signal cables, 25,000 feet of new running rail, and over 40,000 feet of new communication cables. Of course, Governor Kathy Hochul, whose whose office runs the MTA, said riders will benefit from the project with more reliable rides for decades to come. Completing work on an elevator structure that dates back to the Gilded Age ahead of schedule and under budget shows what's possible when we modernize our infrastructure and put riders first, she said. Jamie Torres Springer, president of construction and development, said the work was completed without any service interruptions to the Metro North system. He said workers also added safety features that were not included during the viaduct's initial construction a century ago. These include walkways for maintenance workers and an increase in vertical clearance at intersections over roadways to reduce bridge strikes that happen when trucks try to pass under the viaduct. This one, this is one of the this is one of the most complex and high stakes state of good repair projects currently underway, Torres Springer said. And of course, General said it. We know it's very important to Metro North service. Other projects improvements include a reduction in noise and vibration levels and a permanent art installation at 116th Street. Around Around $500 million for the project was federally funded. The complex project is halfway through completion, which the MTA said is scheduled for 2027. Next, we got um, yeah, there's been some craziness going on after this aftermath of the snowstorm that we recently had. So here's what's going on here. A little recap right here. So okay, so this person says I saw photos of the icer trains and jet blowers on the MTA News Instagram account. How do they work to clear snow from tracks? Um, Keeping MTA's commuter railroads and 220 miles of outdoor subway tracks clear of ice and snow is undertaken. Staff with shovels and brooms can't manage alone, which is where those devices come into play. De-icing trains are retired subway cars modified with tanks and other specialized equipment to spray de-icing fluid on the third rail. Jet blowers, such as their name suggests, are repurposed jet and helicopter engines that we use to blast snow and ice from outdoor tracks, switches, and the third rail. They generate roughly 2,500 pounds of thrust to vaporize heavy snow and slush that can stop trains from moving. So it's snow surprise. We use them to great effect during big winter storms. This person says, I had a hard time getting around after the big storm since many bus stops were not shoveled. Who who's in charge of snow removal? We take seriously the need for New Yorkers to be able to get on and off buses safely. Clearing snow after storms is a collaborative effort between the New York City Departments of Sanitation and Transportation. And also, I just discussed another company that's also in charge of the bus stops and the bus shelters, the JC Deco. I actually did a breakdown on the previous episode, so y'all could actually check that out as well. Um, DSNY is responsible for snow removal at stops without bus shelters, and the DOT contractor JC Deco, which I talked about in the last episode, is responsible for removing snow from benches at shelters. Okay, so this person says the status board on the downtown platform at the West 145th Street St. Nicholas Avenue station has been out for months. Who is responsible for fixing it? Um, the MTA works with an external partner out front to maintain the 14,000 plus digital screens in our subway system. They are aware of a power issue with that board at your station, and we have reached out to escalate its replacement. New Yorkers can report issues with any of our digital screens and signs via the MTA app by filing by filling by filling out the customer feedback form on the MTA website, by calling 511, or by alerting a station agent. All right, let's see. All right, let me get this settled. Let me All right, let's talk about some restaurants that are closing in 2026. Shit. Actually, no. Yeah, restaurant chains, man. Let's talk about that though. We're gonna talk about it in the next segment, the next segment of this show, which is 1 second. Let me get this set up here. So, if you're new here, chatting all the jazz is basically talking about some topics that are basically trending and not so trending, which is why I'm going to cover both. All right. So, without further ado, let's get into chatting all the jazz right here, right now. Let's go. Okay, we got some unfortunate news to talk about in terms of some restaurants that's going to be closing. So this is according to the folks from USA Today. Um, let's get into it right here. All right, so just over 2 weeks into the new year, multiple fast food and fast casual chain restaurants across the United States have announced plans to downsize, with some stating they intend to focus resources on their stronger performing um stronger performing stores. Among the restaurants that have announced closures are Noodles and Company, Red Robin, and Wendy's. No surprise there. Noodles and Company, in a January 12th news release, confirmed it closed 33 company owned restaurants and 9 franchise restaurants in 2025. In the coming year, there will likely be 30 to 35 more closures, the company said. Ah, man. Damn, this is some terrible stuff, man. You got to feel for the hardworking people and where and how they're going to pay their bills and stuff if they get laid off, like I did. Okay. Joe Christina, CEO and president of Noodles and Company, said the company saw sales growth of over 7% for its company owned restaurants in the fourth quarter, and the decision to close some locations was made carefully. He added that closing some restaurants will allow the brand to strengthen. And sorry about that. Sorry about that. Um, that was my stomach, folks. Don't worry about that. Yeah. Yeah. So he said the company saw sales growth of over 7% for its company-owned restaurants in the fourth quarter, and the decision to close some locations were made carefully. He added that closing some restaurants will allow the brand to strengthen itself and its finances. Our fourth quarter results we reinforce that when we concentrate our resources on restaurants with the strongest opportunity to perform, Noodles can drive meaningful top line growth, Christina said in a news release. That performance gives us added confidence as we continue to refine our portfolio in 2026. Hmm, that's pretty delicate and interesting. Um, yeah. USA Today contacted Noodles and Company for a complete list of closures, but has not yet received a response. Here's Here are other restaurants that have recently announced closures and what we know about them so far. So far, um, yeah, Wendy's looking into closing underperforming restaurants. Back in November, Wendy's interim CEO Ken Cook told investors during a quarterly earnings call that the company planned to close a mid single digit percentage of locations. At the time, Wendy's had about 6,000 locations nationwide, meaning the closures could amount to about 240 to 360 stores. Part of the plan, Cook said, was to improve technology and equipment in some locations, transfer underperforming locations to new operators, or close the locations. He said the closures were expected to start during the year's fourth quarter. When we reached by email in early January, Wendy's declined to share a complete list of closures. However, the company stated that it is working to make sure it has a restaurant footprint that consistently delivers an exceptional experience for our customers and is profitable for our franchises. Um, Underperforming restaurants may close as part of this strategy, Wendy's said in the statement. Some locations closed in late December include Wendy's in Levittown, Pennsylvania, West Lafayette, Indiana, and in Stockton, California location, according to the Bucks County Courier Times, the Lafayette Journal and Courier, and the Stockton Record, all part of the USA Today network. Um, Red Robin announced in February 2025 that it planned to close about 70 underperforming locations to repay debt. Later that year, the burger restaurant stated during an earnings call that the company's attempts to improve performance at some locations worked so well that it didn't need to close as many locations. When asked for an updated number of closures and a list of locations on January 15th, Red Robin referred USA Today to the company's second quarter update and noted improvements. In quote, building on this momentum, Red Robin delivered strong financial results in its third quarter of 2025, including beating expectations of comparable restaurant revenue, restaurant level profitability, and traffic, the company said in a January 15th statement. Red Robin expects to report results for fourth quarter and full year 2025 in its first quarter of 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. 2026. Starbucks has no plans to extensive closures in 2026. While Starbucks had made headlines recently for potential closures in late 2025, the company confirmed on January 16th in a statement to USA Today that previous reports about the coffee company closing 400 stores were misrepresented. Excuse me. Let's see. According to Starbucks, the company closed 400 locations in the fall of 2025, which was last year. In quote, as part of our normal closures of business, we regularly evaluate our coffee houses and determine how best to meet the needs of our customers. But there is no plan for extensive closures in 2026, Starbucks said in a statement. In late September 2025, Starbucks CEO Brian Nicole said the business was reviewing its U.S. portfolio and would close locations that aren't able to deliver the environment and financial return the company wants to see. Each year, we opened and closed coffee houses for a variety of reasons, from financial performance to lease expirations, Nicole said, adding that Starbucks would end fiscal year 2025 with 18,300 total company operated and licensed locations across the United States and Canada. In fiscal year 2026, we'll grow the number of coffee houses we operate as we continue to invest in our business, Nicole continued. Over the next 12 months, we also plan to uplift more than 1,000 locations to introduce greater texture, warmth, and layered design. Okay. Next topic we got to talk about is, hold on a second here. Okay, let's see. All right, next topic we got to talk about is, let's talk about J. Cole's recent album that just came out on Friday, this past Friday, The Fall Off. And it's going to be, I think this is going to be his last album project, though. So, here's what's happening here. So, J. Cole has revealed the track list to The Fall Off ahead of its release this Friday, which is already out right now. So the eagerly anticipated project, which serves as the Dreamville rapper's 8th and final album, features 24 songs across 2 discs, including the previously released The Fall Off is Ineditable, which dropped on YouTube earlier this month under the title Disc 2 Track 2. Other song titles include 2-6 Legacy, Bombs in the Ville, Hit the Gas, Lonely at the Top, and The Whole World is the Ville, a nod to Cole's hometown of Fayetteville, North Carolina. Guest features and producers remain under wraps. But the back cover does list J. Cole, his longtime manager, Ibrahim I.B. Hamad, and multi-platinum hitmaker T-Minus as the album's executive producers, along with the track list. The back cover is adorned with posters of some of Cole's childhood heroes, including Eminem, 50 Cent, Common, RZA, and Cannabis, among others. The picture, along with the album's front cover, was taken by Cole himself inside his childhood bedroom when he was a hip-hop obsessed teen. So the track list goes like this for disc 1 of the Fall Off album. So you got 29 intro, 2-6 Safety, Run a Train, Poor Thing, Legacy, Run a Train, Hold on. Legacy Bounce, Road Blues, Who the Fuck Is You, Drum Bass, Drum and Bass, The Let Out, Bombs in the Ville, Hit the Gas, Lonely at the Top, bonus track. This too, aka this 39. 39 intro, The Fall Off is inevitable. The Villas, Old Dog, Life Sentence, Only You, Man Up Above, I Love Her Again, What If, Quick Stop, and The Whole World is the Ville. And of course, bonus track is Ocean Way. The 40-year-old MC also shared a note providing more insight into the concept behind the fall off, which he says brings his pursuit of hip hop stardom full circle. Some of the very first verses for the come up were written when I was just 19 years old. He wrote referencing his 2007 debut mixtape. The title of that project, the first one that I would ever release, had a double meaning. There was the obvious one, my ambitions to come up in the rap game. The second was more subtle, my physical change of location to do so. And he said, in quote, I was a delusional teenager from Fayetteville, North Carolina, who had decided to leave home and come up to New York City on a dream chasing mission. When you listen to that project, you hear a college kid with a real sharp pen telling the world how he's going to make it and proudly put his unknown city on the map in the process. Cole continued and quote, towards the end of the come up, a couple skits tell a common story for me at that age. Me driving back home from school on a holiday break, calling my mom to let her know I'm a few hours away, then calling my homeboys excited to let them know I'm back in town, asking where the party at. End quote. The Fall Off, a double album made with intentions to be my last, brings the concept of my first project full circle. This 29 tells a story of me returning to my hometown at age 29, a decade after moving to New York, accomplishing what would have seemed impossible to most. I was at a crossroads with the three loves of my life, my woman, my craft, and my city. This 39 gives insight into my mindset during a similar trip home, this time as a 39-year-old man, older and a little closer to peace. Without giving too much away, without giving away too much more, here is the back cover of the fall off. He added, all pictures in this version of the album was shot by me. The front and back cover are photographs I took when I was 15. This back cover includes the track list is a picture I took of the walls in my bedroom at the time. Thank you to every artist and photographer that cleared these pictures. I woke up every morning as a teenager, quite literally looking up to y'all. When this album releases, please know that you, in some deeper metaphysical type way, are in the music too. Before I go on, I want to say something actually from what I was listening to recently from a recent show that I was listening to was Mornings with Miro, and one of the individuals was talking about how J. Cole bailed on the beef, the ridiculous beef. I want to say this though, man. He's at an age where he is a grown man, and whether people like it or not, he's a grown man. And if he doesn't want to be considered, first of all, if he doesn't want to be a part of the beef or be in whatever it is, though, and who's to say, according to the the idea of conforming to, you know, the the battles or some shit. That's his prerogative. I don't know why. I don't know why people are basically writing him off because he bailed on the beef. He's a grown man. He got other shit that he has other shit on his mind that he has to do after the retirement of his last album. Like, come on now. Come on now. He's not gonna be doing this for the rest of his life. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to take the time for those who want to write people off, including J. Cole, because it's not to your liking that he's not part of the battle, whatever it may be. This is listen. I listen to J. Cole's music, and his music discography is pretty awesome. I'm not gonna write him off because he did what he did. So you know, it is what it is. Life goes on. It's not the end of the fucking world to bail out of a battle. It's not the end of the world. All right, let's move on to the next topic in terms of my favorite food, which is pasta. Now, I know there's probably a difference between pasta and macaroni and cheese. I know there's got to be a food holiday for macaroni and cheese actually. So I'll look up the difference later. Anyway, what is National Pasta Day, you ask? National Pasta Day is celebrated every October 17th. The folks who created pasta definitely when what they were doing. Hundreds of years of Italian tradition go into this simple meal. Each October, we devote a special day to this incredible dish. Pasta come in many shapes and sizes, but no matter the form, it's something nearly every American family has grown up with. Let's see. Let's go over the history of National Pasta Day. Spaghetti, fettuccine, macaroni, and ravioli. Pasta is undoubtedly one of our favorite comfort foods. But do we know how the dish became so popular here in the States? Or where it even came from? The origins of pasta are a little difficult to trace, but many researchers support the theory that Marco Polo brought noodles back to Italy upon returning from a trip to China in 1271. Though this theory supports a tale of discovery and adventure, Marco Polo's travels are all retold through secondhand sources, making the accuracy questionable. However, if Marco Polo did bring pasta back to Italy, he certainly wasn't the first to do so. Pasta was already a popular dish in Italy by the early 13th century. Other historians have traced pasta back to ancient Etruscan Etruscan civilizations who would grind cereals and grains before mixing them with water to produce their own pasta like carbohydrate. Pasta was brought to America by early Spanish settlers, but wasn't popular until Thomas Jefferson made a trip to Paris and fell in love with macaroni, which at the time referred to any pasta shape. Years later, when a large group of Italian immigrants moved from Italy to America, pasta became a staple and obtainable meal in the United States. Let's go to the timeline here. All right. All right, so 400s. First mentions of pasta. Pasta is produced in large quantities in um, um, Palermo. Palermo. 1600s, pasta becomes a staple. In Naples, people became um, vociferous macaroni eaters. 1740, first pasta factory opened. Um, Paolo Adami opened it in Venice, Italy. Late 1700s, first mention of red sauce. The first mention of tomato sauce was in a 1790 cookbook called El Picio Moderno. 1914, artificial pasta drying invented. The process of creating dry pasta allowed it to be widely available in Italy. Um, I'd much rather eat pasta and drink wine than be a size. Oh wow! Oh shit, that's funny. Oh man, so Sophia Bush, the actress. Oh wow, the facts: 75%, just under three-quarters of people surveyed eating pasta at least once a week, with over 1 in 20 eating pasta daily. 2.8% more than 1 in 50 people surveyed responded that they never eat pasta. 25%, the most popular pasta dish. This one probably comes as no surprise, with more than 1 in 4 choosing spaghetti as their pasta of choice. The numbers. Which pasta sauce is your favorite? Now, okay, so you have, hang on 1 second. So you have, so you have red marinara, um, bolognese, 51.95% in red, um, green pesto, 4.32%, and white Alfredo, 43.72%. Oh my gosh, man. Are you kidding me? Jeez. Jeez, man. So, oh man. Obviously, okay. So, what's your favorite pasta sauce brand? So, um, 30, 30 people say Prego. Half half the people say Rayos, Susina, Antica. Some say Ragu, Newman's. 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 Oh man. Newman's own Francesco. Not sure what that says here. Francesco um um Renault. Renault. Um anyway. Bertoli, Emeralds, Barilla, Classical, Amy's, Hunts, Victoria, Store Brand, and others. So basically, it's like between 20 and 5. Okay. How often do you eat pasta? So some people eat once a day. Some three to 5 times a week. That's like, wait a second. That's like five people. Um, 20 people 3 to 5 times a week. 1 to 3 times a week. That's close to 30. close to 30. That's 30 people. That's like close to 30 people. I think that's like, yeah, that's like around, yeah, around like, yeah, that's like around there. Um, Over 15 people eat pasta once a week, once every couple of weeks. That's like 15 people. Um, five five people um eat once a month. Once a year is like what, two people eat once a year, and like what, 3 to 4 people never ate pasta. Damn, you don't know what you're fucking missing. Oh shit. Oh shit. National Pasta Day activities. Invent your own pasta shape. There are approximately 300 350 people, um 350 different types of pasta around the world. Hold on, let me see. All right. Okay, so there are approximately 350 different types of pastas around the world. So mimic your favorite one or invent a unique pasta shape. Choose a basic, choose a basic pasta dough recipe, and then let the creativity run wild. Host a host a spaghetti dinner. For those of you who ever played a sport or have just grown up with pasta, there's nothing better than sharing a table with a group of teammates, friends, or family and bonding over a large plate of spaghetti and meatballs. Yum. Whatever the occasion, invite some friends over to rekindle the joy of this family friendly classic. Indulge in your favorite pasta dish. Craving those carbs? Today is your ultimate cheat day. Make a reservation at your favorite pasta place and indulge in oodles of noodles, aka ramen. Why we love National Pasta Day, you ask? It's good for all ages. Pasta is a timeless dish that evokes childhood memories, yet is still enjoyed far beyond childhood. It's not only ageless, but also enjoyed by both the seasoned chef and the less experienced foodie alike. Excuse me. Who knew that the pasta used in your top ramen could be used in a gourmet meal? Pasta brings people together. Pasta crosses culture and dietary boundaries like almost no other single food. It's simple, accessible, and convenient, which makes it the perfect food to enjoy amongst many friends and family. In fact, pasta, meat, and rice are the three most popular foods enjoyed around the globe. So, next time you are hosting a dinner party, keep in mind that pasta is a real crowd pleaser. It comes in all shapes and sizes and colors. Pasta shapes and colors vary due to cultural differences, ingredients, and the sauce they are paired with. Americans typically like more popularized shapes such um, such as spaghetti or fettuccine, whereas Italians prefer shapes that can hold more sauce. Kids can get kids can even get pasta in the shape of their favorite cartoon, SpongeBob mac and cheese. SpongeBob's mac and cheese, anyone? All right, so this year, Saturday, October the 17th. Next year, Sunday, October 17th. That's 2027. Um 2028, Tuesday, October 17th, 2029, Wednesday, October 17th, and 2030, Thursday, October 17th. All right, next we gotta talk about some let me see. We gotta talk about some stuff right here. Hold on. Hold on. Let's see. All right, let's get into this. According to Hip Hop DX, Dr. Dre reportedly has a load of unreleased music he made with the Diplomats, according to Tony Yayo. The G Unit rapper stopped by Club Shay Shay podcast for an interview and revealed that Dre once hit the studio with Dipset. He said, "In quote, Dr. Dre is just a real picky motherfucker. Um, he did records with Dipset, and that shit ain't never come out." Yayo added, "In quote, he did records with certain people, and they never coming out. But he's like a real particular nigga. I remember he used to tell 50 to do one line over and over again, do it over, say it like this. And I understood sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Dre is a fucking perfectionist. That was an experience." Um, let's see. Let's see what else. Jim Jones previously revealed that the group had recorded with Dre in an interview with MTV back in 2010. He said Dr. Dre came to our studio, which was even more incredible. That was dope. We got to do a few songs with him. He coached me a bit. Exhibit recently opened up about the experience of working with Dr. Dre. The two collaborated on a number of hits, including What's the Difference and and recently reconnected for X's new album Kingmaker with Dre featuring on the track Leave Me Alone. Sitting down for a chat with Billboard, X opened up about what it's like to work with the legendary producer. He said when we did Bitch Please together, the insanity of it was being a fan first, and then you basically get recruited into the Avengers. I'll never lose that feeling because it keeps things in perspective. The direction, hold on, the direction Dre gives when he's in the studio only elevates the record because you rely on his experience. Yeah, you rely on his experience, even if it takes you out of your comfort zone. The Pimp My Ride host also revealed that Leave Me Alone was a last minute addition to his first album in over a decade. He continued, "We were supposed to come out on March 28th, and then Leave Me Alone came in. I was like, oh shit, it was crazy. Swizz Beats actually did the track, and Dre did co-production, and just have both of them together on the track. I don't think that's ever been done. It was really exciting to have Dre on the album after all this time means the world to me. He's my brother. He's coach." I'll be back. Sorry about that. I had to use the bathroom. Um, anyway, let's get to J Electronica. So, J Electronica, who for years frustrated fans with his lack of output, is suddenly dropping music left and right. Soon after releasing his long lost album Act Two, Act Two, the patents of nobility, the turn, and a written testimony um, leaflets late last week. The Rock Nation rapper continued to flood over the weekend with projects. Two further projects. Um, a written testimony, Power at the Rate of My Dreams features 5 new songs, including a collaboration with Westside Gun and Hit Boy that is sure to pick the attention of even the most indifferent J Elect fan. Mars, the inhabited planet, which is also falls under Jay's a written testimony series, clocks in at a slightly more generous 8 tracks, with a sole guest appearance coming from singer P.Y.T. Joyce. Not sure who that is. Much like his aforementioned projects, these latest efforts are littered with audio samples and dialogue that reflect Jay Electronica's religious, politic, and conspiracy theorist beliefs. Some might say they take up too much of the airtime. Some of the song titles are pretty explosive too, like CNN and BBC are liars. While it's hard to tell if um the real Candace O tells us more is in support of or opposition of the controversial right wing pundit Candace Owens. Um Either way, Electron J Electronica dropping 4 projects in 1 week is one of the biggest surprises of the year. And having rapped about giving his label boss Jay-Z 19 albums in one day. Who knows how many more he might have up his sleeve. Damn. That's a heck of a that's a heck of bodies of work. Hmm. I can't recall the last time any music artist who was a rapper that actually did something like this though. Yeah. So here we go. We're gonna get into all right. All right. I want to get into I want to get into a segment. Um, Hang on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. All right. Let me set this up. All right, let's get into Crunch Tech mentions. All right. So this is from Tech Advisor. I want to actually get into this. This one really kind of caught my attention actually. According to Tech Advisor, over the years we've covered multiple foldable models, but of late interest has ramped up. They've become a big topic of discussion across tech forums and communities, and brands are investing much more heavily in the form factor. Samsung has continued to push foldables, innovating with its trifold model. Google's latest line includes its Pixel 10 Pro Fold, and even Apple's is said to be working on a foldable iPhone to be released later this year. Man, everybody can't really keep up with all these models, man. And I bet you that shit's going to be very expensive. Phone innovation has always fascinated me, and anything that turns a tablet into a compact device naturally gets me curious. There's no denying that the engineering behind this type of phone still feels futuristic. And the idea of carrying a phone that unfolds into something tablet-like sounds perfect on paper, at least. The appeal is clear. The design allows you to quickly switch from a standard slab phone to a tablet-sized display. Oh man, the folded form works well for quick tasks, um, including taking notes or sending messages. Opening the inner display allows for more immersive activities such as watching videos or editing content. This narrows the gap between a tablet and a compact smartphone while still remaining pocket friendly. While this looks appealing, long-term sustainability is what gives many users pause, myself included. I followed discussions around foldable phones closely, and alongside the praise, there are consistent concerns about how well the form factor holds up over time. These are my reasons for preferring a tablet. A foldable's bigger screen still isn't big enough. If you are truly into a larger display, a foldable may not be for you. The largest foldable phones, such as the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7 with its 8-inch inner display, still offer less usable screen space than most compact tablets, which typically sit around the 10-inch mark. Here, we can argue that foldables do include an additional outer display, but it doesn't meaningfully replace the experience of working on a larger screen. But bigger than a phone doesn't automatically mean as good as a tablet. Even Samsung pushing the form factor further with a tri-fold design. The bigger the picture hasn't really changed. Aspect ratio is another limitation. Foldable phones use near square inner displays, which can feel awkward for reading, writing, and multitasking. Tablets have a wider natural display, while folding phones may show shorter text lines. Apps feel cramped, and layouts often need constant adjustment. The crease is another compromise. It may look minor, but it can be distracting and break immersion. You are constantly reminded of the design trade-offs involved. Um, a tablet offers uninterrupted screen space, resulting in a smoother experience. I won't say foldables are bad. I'd rather say they are compromised by design. That gap between promise and everyday usability is why I still choose a tablet. Foldables still fall fall short on durability and battery life. Hinges and inner screens can suffer from long-term wear. I don't want to be aware of how carefully I need to open my device whenever I use it. They are sensitive, regardless of how much a company emphasizes durability. For many users, they can be anxiety around opening and closing an expensive device daily. Even a small crackling sound or a slight change in how the fold opens and closes can create worry. On the other hand, tablets are simpler. They are sturdier and easier to protect, even though they need more space in your bag. They are generally more robust, and if they fall from a height, there's no exposed inner screen to worry about damaging. Um, that peace of mind matters. There can be anxiety around opening and closing an expensive device daily. While I like foldable phones for their two displays, which can make multitasking easier, a big battery is ideally needed, but that would make the phone bulkier. In general, these phones tend to have smaller batteries, as you see on OnePlus Open, which has which has 4,805 mAh. It's it's good enough for everyday use, but not very powerful for a dual display. Endurance is another factor to consider. The hinges, flexible screens, and smaller batteries face more wear over time than traditional devices. Tablets tend to last longer for media, work, and travel. Foldables still struggle with large screen software. This is where the promise of foldables falls short in everyday use. While they give you a bigger display, the software doesn't always fit. I still run into apps that aren't properly optimized for foldables. Even how in 2026 you'll notice stretch layouts and odd spacing that feel like apps are blown up disproportionately. Split screen works decently in some cases, but other apps resize strangely or force you to keep tweaking. In theory, multitasking looks brilliant, yet it can feel messy in reality. Tablets handle this far better. Apps are usually designed with big screens in mind, more thoughtful layouts, clearer spacing, and smoother task flow. The difference really shows during longer sessions. At the end of the day, a larger screen only shines when the software backs it up properly, and tablets still win hands down. Foldables still fall short on long term value. This is where things get tricky. Repairability is one area where foldables struggle to justify themselves. The adhesive used used for flexible inner displays can wear over time, while the hinge mechanism adds layers of complexity that make even simple repairs more difficult and expensive. A damaged inner screen or hinge issue can quickly turn into a costly repair. This repair can be as expensive as a replacement device. Tablets, by comparison, are far simpler. They may not be easy to repair, but as a traditional design, it makes screen or battery replacements more straightforward. This matters over time. especially if you plan to keep a device for several years. Consider if after 4 years down the line a repair becomes unavoidable. With a standard tablet, you can expect a find you excuse me, you can expect to find available replacement parts or compatible third-party options. With a foldable phone, that same repair can be far more difficult as specialized parts such as inner displays and hinges are harder to source and rarely have reliable alternatives. Price to value is still better on tablets. Foldable phones are expensive. Even if used, foldables often cost as much as premium tablets, sometimes more. The difference is what you get for that price. A tablet gives you a larger screen, better multitasking, stronger accessory support, and often better battery life for sustained use. You are paying for the utility. With foldables, a large chunk of the cost goes toward engineering complexity and miniature rate, minute, 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 miniaturization. You are paying for the folding mechanism itself, not necessarily for a better experience in daily tasks. Um, yeah, miniaturization. Okay, if I have to choose where my money delivers more tangible value, tablets win comfortably. For the way I actually use my devices on a daily basis, a tablet still makes more sense, and it's what I choose every time. Yeah, I would never get a foldable tablet. I would never get that though. I'd rather get a simple tablet where I don't have to worry about folding it. Because if you think about it though, foldable tablets don't really end well, especially when you're trying to open it and close it because of the hinges and everything might wear out. So just stick to the basics. Just stick to the basics. You know what I'm saying? Just stick to the basics. Let's see. Let me see. What the hell did I do? Um, let me see if there's any what's this? What the hell? Okay. Um, so let's see. Okay, so in other tech news, Tech Advisor reports that Google's Android 17 beta 1 is launching soon with the operating system codenamed Cinnamon Bun. Oh shit. Expected to reach final release by June 2026. Oh man. The update introduces a blurred visual design and split UI elements, with Pixel phones anticipated to receive the update first among Android devices. Current beta program participants will automatically receive Android 17 beta 1 and can opt out without data loss until the beta cycle concludes. While we wait for the while we wait for the March Pixel drop, which is poised to be a big one. Google has confirmed news about Android 17, codename Cinnamon Bun. That's lame. The next major. Hold on, wait a second. What is this? Hold on. Hold on. What the hell? Wait. Let me refresh this. Okay, so hold on. All right, so the next major version of its mobile operating system will launch soon in beta form. This follows the release of the Android 16 QPR3 beta 2.1 patch. A post on Reddit is titled Android 17 beta 1 around the corner and also says that it will kick soon. Google also strongly hints at the final Android 17 release date in the post by saying, in quote, the next opportunity to exit the beta program without a data swipe will be towards the end of the Android 17 beta cycle in June 2026. Now, let's see. Okay, so when it does arrive, it will likely start rolling out to Pixel phones first. Note that if you are already opted into the Android beta program, you'll automatically receive the Android 17 beta 1 when it drops. If you want to stick with the public Android 16 QPR3 update, then follow the instructions in the post and opt out of the program without wiping your data. If you've not participated before, then you can head to the official site to see which of your devices is compatible and opt in. As always, it's not recommended to use the beta on a device you rely on. Android 17 is tipped to get a blurred look and split UI elements. Okay, so there you go right there. There you go right there. So all right. All right, let's get into some gaming news right here. We got some video gaming news that we gotta talk about here, actually. So let's get into it right here. Hold on. Time for the video game entertainment newsroom segment. Hold on. Sorry about that. All right, let's get into Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition. All right, so the previously announced Switch 2 version of Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition is being released digitally later this month. The release was announced during the Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, where um, Bethesda, Bethesda Game Studios revealed that the special edition of its 10-year-old RPG will be coming on February 24th. Mark your calendars. Fallout 4 Anniversary Edition was released on Xbox Series, PS5, Xbox One, PS4, and PC on November 10th, 2025 of last year, with Bethesda promising at the time that it would be coming to Switch 2, Nintendo Switch 2 in 2026. Anniversary Edition bundles the 10-year-old RPG with its 6 official add-ons, in addition to over 150 pieces of Creation Club game mods. It also introduces a new in-game creations menu, which Bethesda says makes it easier to discover and download content from professional developers and fan creators. Some believe the game would be shadow dropping today, but this didn't turn out to be the case. In an interview with GQ in November 2025, Bethesda game director Todd Howard said he liked the idea of doing more shadow drops of games, noting that he doesn't like announcing release dates for games, then having players wait a long time for that date to arrive. End quote. I like to just announce stuff and release it, he explained. My perfect vision, and I'm not saying this is going to happen, is that it's going to be a while and then one day the game will just appear. Asked if he wanted Bethesda to shadow drop the Elder Scrolls 6 like it did with Oblivion Remastered. And he replied, in quote, "You might say that was a test run. It worked out well." Okay, hang on. I know there was a let me see. Hold on. I know PlayStation is doing like a hang on. PlayStation State of Play. Okay, here we go. State of Play 2026 is what I'm looking for. Hang on one second here. PlayStation State of Play 2026. Let's see. State of Play. Let's see this. Um all right, what to expect from PlayStation State of Play presentation. All right, so a lengthy 60 plus minutes Sony State of Play is heading our way this Thursday, February 12th, which is tomorrow. If you have a YouTube channel, you can make sure you follow. You can follow that as well. And promises new looks at third-party and indie games headed to PS5, along with the latest from teams at PlayStation Studios. So, what upcoming games can we expect to see fresh reviews for the game for and gameplay of? Well, here's what we think is likely to show up, as well as a few out there guesses. Seen as it's shaping up to be PlayStation's biggest game of 2026, you perhaps have expected Wolverine to show up in Thursday's stream. Well, a late spanner has been thrown into the works via Insomniac's official X account, which claims that we won't be seeing any more of its latest Marvel game until spring 2026. Last time I checked, February was in the winter. So maybe we'll have to wait a little longer. See, hold on. At the last state of play back in September 2025, Insomniac Games gave us a first look at Marvel's Wolverine in action as one of Sony's tentpole releases for this year. It certainly wouldn't be a shock to see some more X-Men gameplay, as well as perhaps a release date for Logan's latest adventure. Could we also catch a glimpse of Daredevil, who has been teased to be making an appearance too? You gotta wait and see and check out the live stream. PlayStation Studios' first big exclusive of the year comes in the shape of a marathon. Um, Bungie's extraction shooter, which will be looking to emulate the success of last year's Art Raiders. It's been a bumpy road for the Destiny developers, such as a plagiarism scandal and poor reception to its alpha. But this week's state of play will be one of the last chances for it to convince players to hop into its world on March 5th. Later in spring, we have Saro's House Marquee, House Marque's follow up to Returnal, which will be dropping on April 30th. We've seen it pop up regularly on recent state of play streams, and it would make perfect sense to see it here too, seeing as we're only 10 weeks away from launch. Another PS5 console exclusive is Marvel Token Fighting Souls, the upcoming superhero fighting game from Guilty Gear Strive developer Arc System Works. Due for release this year, the flashy looking fighter suffered from an unfortunate leak earlier this week that revealed a few key details about the game, such as the size of its roster. It would not be a shock to see some of this information officially confirmed as fact on Thursday. PS5 exclusive Phantom Blade Zero is a hotly anticipated um, Wuxia action RPG coming from Chinese developer S Game. The lead character is called Soul. So you can probably guess what genre this project borrows heavily from too. It's all looking very impressive, and maybe we'll get yet another look at it in action this week ahead of its September 9th launch. Then there's the freshly revealed Horizon Hunters Gathering, yet another spin-off of the mechanical monster hunting series created by Guerrilla Games. A three-player live service co-op action game. It's getting its first play test at the end of the month. So again, it wouldn't be a surprise if we were to get a further look at some gameplay in this state of play. Unveiled at the Game Awards, 4 Loop is a PS5 and PC exclusive that appears to infuse some rogue-like elements with the co-op shooting of games like Helldivers and Left 4 Dead. That makes more sense when you consider that Left 4 Dead creator Mike Booth is behind the project, working with Bad Robot Games, the video game wing of film director J.J. Abrams' production company. No release date has been given yet, but play testing will start soon, with maybe a timing for that revealed at this state of play. One exclusive that we don't think is coming this year, but would certainly love to see more of its Naughty Dog's intergalactic, the heretic prophet. The Last of Us and Uncharted Studios' upcoming sci-fi action adventure has gone very quiet since its initial reveal back at the 2024 Game Awards. So it is time for a deeper look into what this new world has to offer. Let's hope so. As for what the other PlayStation studios are up to, your guess is as good as mine. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't expect one or two surprise reveals or updates. The state of play stream is over an hour long after all, so surely there's something brand new in there. Perhaps a look at the next project from God of War developer Sony Santa Monica, or a look into the world of Ghost of Yotai, Legends from Sucker Punch. Maybe the time is right for a first sighting of Gran Turismo 8 or an update on the development of Haven Studios' Fair Games. If we don't see this one soon, we'll really start to get worried about it. Then there are two of Sony's most creative studios, Media Molecule and Team Asobi. We've certainly been waiting a lot longer for a follow-up to Dreams than we have Astrobot, but you never know what's been going on behind those doors. Multi-platform, we will see GTA 6 at this Sony State of Play. No, I would eat my whole fist if we do. There are a fair few other exciting games that we wouldn't put body parts on the line for in terms of their likelihood, though. Resident Evil Requiem is imminent, so now seems like as good a time as any to show us one last slice of Leon Kennedy action before the big day on February 27th. Mark your calendars. Sticking with survival horror, Konami has curiously announced a Silent Hill stream will be taking place just 2 hours after the state of play. Is this a signal that a more in-depth look at a Silent Hill game will be at that show following its reveal just minutes prior as part of PlayStation's PlayStation stream? We gotta wait and see. Perhaps this week is when we'll see Blue Blur Team's remake of the original in the series, or more likely, our first proper look at the Annapurna published Silent Hill Townfall, which was first announced in 2022 and has been MIA since. Back at Capcom briefly, and you can likely expect to see something from one of, if not both, Pragmata and Onimusha, Way of the Sword. Final Fantasy VII Remake director Naoki Hamaguchi recently teased that Square Enix will share more updates than ever before about the project this year. Does that mean a potential reveal of the third part in the modernized RPG trilogy will happen at this state of play, or could we get an intergrade style bridging chapter as DLC for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Before we get too sidetracked, let's stick with games closer on the horizon, such as Hitman developer IO Interactive's 007 007 First Light and Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight from Warner Brothers Games. Both are coming this May, and their respective developers could share further info on Thursday. Before those, though, March will bring with it Crimson Desert, Pearl Abyss, ambitious open world action adventure that looks at to push the PS5 to its limits. No stranger to a trailer. We can likely expect it to turn up here too. As for later in the year, Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra recently shifted out of its original window of early 2026 to beyond early 2026. So your guess is as good as mine as to when we'll be playing Amy Hennig's Captain America and Black Panther in World War II story. Legendary PlayStation hero Lara Croft will be returning in a reimagining of her original name titled Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. And Finnish developer Remedy is back with another entry in its connected universe. Control Resonant. Also announced at the Game Awards was the pleasantly surprising Star Wars Galactic Racer from the makers of Burnout and Need for Speed that is scheduled to drop in 2026. All of these are possibilities. Okay. As for indies outside of the announcement of a PS5 version, Hades 2, there are a few destined for PlayStation that I personally love to see more on Thursday, namely Beethoven and Dinosaurs Coming of Age Story mixtape. Old school, old school cartoon inspired shooter mouse PI for hire and Japanese convenience store sim in Konbini. One store, many stories. What game are you most looking forward to seeing more of at this week's Sony State of Play? All right, you can watch this. You can watch this. You can watch Sony's State of Play live stream tomorrow on the PlayStation YouTube channel page. And any other YouTubers that's actually doing this, that's actually doing the live stream and stuff, be sure to actually have everything set up as far as like the sound quality and everything set up. I know YouTubers are going to be doing some reactions too, so I'm looking forward to hearing their reactions behind there. So yeah, there you go. All right. All right, time for our last segment of the night. Stream choices on the go. Let's go. All right, folks, you know what to do. Make sure you follow Off the Meat Rat Chainz New York Avenue podcast on Facebook alongside with Bluesky Social, Threads, and Instagram. The same goes for my other podcast shows that I'm doing, which are the Sports Edition show, Excellent, Fun, Vibrant Talks podcast, alongside with my entertainment review show, Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast, which I will be recording in a few minutes. And you can also follow your host with the most G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York on Threads and Instagram as well. Now, you go to the link in bio, you're going to see a whole list of streaming audio platforms with podcast feed links. In Linktree, you're going to see a whole list of other streaming platforms that you can listen to the episodes on. And I will gladly go over where you can listen to them by starting with Odyssey, Audible, Audioburst, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to leave a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts. with some positive thoughts. All right. It really helps the show grow, and it really helps um, hosts like me who creates content for multiple podcast shows, and it gives me the confidence and the energy that I need to create more content and more topics. All right, um, so the comedy show podcast is on Castbox FM. You got Deezer, you have Listen Notes, Moon FM podcast, Overall FM podcast, Pandora, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podo Polo, Panorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podcatcher, Podcast Republic. You can also listen on Snipped, Spotify. Make sure you add the podcast to your Spotify playlist, and also click on the notification bell so you be notified on the episodes being posted on a weekly basis. You can also listen on Spotify for Creators, TuneIn Radio, Fountain, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, the number one app where you can listen to your favorite music artists like rappers, R&B singers, pop stars, jazz, rock and roll, and other music genres. And you can also listen to your favorite AM and FM radio stations. And also don't forget, you can listen to the podcast episodes for free. You don't need a credit card or debit card to download iHeartRadio. All you need to do is get your phone of your iPhones, your Android phones, alongside with your iPads, your Android tablets, and you can even download iHeartRadio on your laptops, which includes Apple and Dell laptop models. All right. So be sure to download iHeartRadio on any devices that you are using. And make sure you click on that subscribe button on the YouTube channel page where you can see the episodes already uploaded to the YouTube channel page. Leave a like and a comment alongside with the topics. Tell me how you feel about today's topics in this episode. All right. And also, if there's any topics you want me to cover, mind you, I'm not doing anything political, all right? So just keep that in mind. And you can also share the podcast Linktree link with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, people you are cool with from work, and all that good stuff. And of course, enable alerts of notifications, so you'll be able to know when I'll be on the air via live stream with new topics and new recordings. All right, and of course, yes, click on the notification bell so you'll be able to know when each episode will be uploaded. The video episodes will be uploaded onto the channel page. And of course, new episodes will be Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. I'm slowly trying to gradually keep up with trying to drop these episodes and stuff. It's been a little bit of a delay because of how cold it was for the past couple of days, actually. So yeah, there you go. Right there. Also, don't forget to leave. Also, yeah, I already mentioned Apple Podcasts. Okay, so if you like the topics that you are listening to in each episode, you are more than welcome as an option to leave a tip Any amount will be appreciated in my Cash App or my PayPal. Any amount will be appreciated. So there you go, right there. There you go, right there. Yes. So that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for me, man. I'm your man, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator. Rhymes with now or later. Thank you very much for listening to the 441st episode of this podcast right here. And remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to work hard and earn it. It's not going to be given to you on a fucking silver platter. And, follow your goals and dreams. Don't let anybody stop you from following your niche and what you enjoy to do, whether it's creative stuff, creating content, creating podcasts, even being creative on your radio shows as a radio personality and stuff, and any other career fields you're trying to do that you love to do, man. But do what makes you happy, not based on your parents. All right, and I also like to say, if you plan on starting a podcast, you want to make sure you be yourself behind the microphone as you are recording your podcast and topics within your recordings. And be on your P's and Q's creatively, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, that gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. All right. So there you go. There you go, folks. And don't forget to check out Sony's State of Play live stream tomorrow, February 12th. All right. Let me see if they gave a time on when the live stream is going to start. Let me look for that before I wrap up here. Let me look this up real quick. Come on. Okay, what time is the live stream for Sony State of Play 2026? Okay. Let me look this up real quick for you folks at home that have PlayStation 5 and stuff. So I want to make sure that so here it is. So the Sony State of Play for February 2026 takes place on Thursday, February 12th at 2 p.m. Pacific time, 5 p.m. Eastern time, 10 p.m. GMT. All right. So this is going to be, hang on a second here. So it's going to be, wow. Yeah. Yeah. So, oh, wow. And the regional times for Pacific is 2 p.m. Eastern will be 5 p.m. Eastern. The UK 10 p.m. GMT. Europe 11 p.m. CEST. And Japan 7 a.m. GST. February 13th. Okay. Let me see. On YouTube. I should have mentioned YouTube. Let me see. Okay. Let me see. All right. Let me see. This is from the PlayStation blog, actually. So let's. Okay. All right. So follow the Sony PlayStation's YouTube channel page for more details. And when it starts, I will be looking it up and circling back. Um, and I will actually let you know when you can actually rewatch the live streams and stuff. So of course, stay tuned. Stay tuned for the State of Play by Sony PlayStation. And of course, stay tuned for more new episodes and new topics in the next episode. All right. I'm about to be out of here. And I'll see y'all next time in the next episode. And of course, with Valentine's Day weekend coming up, if you're getting something for your special woman, all that great stuff, you don't have to go the extra mile by wasting money on expensive roses or anything like that. Just keep it simple. It may work for some people, but it may not. So just keep it simple. Peace and one love. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your week. I'll be back next time. Peace and good night, everybody. I'll be live. I should be live in my next podcast recording for Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, episode 154. If not, I will circle back and reschedule. All right. Peace and one love. I hope y'all stay warm out there, bundle up, layer up. Make sure you have your hoodies, make sure you have your gloves, make sure you have your mittens, your gloves, your scarves, your winter hats, your scullies, all that great stuff. I'm out of here. Peace. Good night, everybody.